Hi, I'm Sean,
I'm Rhonda.
and we're excited to be with you today. We want to talk about blended families. So, the blended family faces a lot of challenges that other families don't have to deal with.
We're going to hit some highlights. We know there's so much more to go into, but for this video, we hope to maybe get some conversation started for you and present some ideas for thought.
So, by definition, a blended family is a couple that gets married and includes the children from at least one spouse. And this is children from a pre established or already existing relationship.
So there's a lot of expectations that are going to be out there when couples are blending a family. First of all, let's say challenges are going to be normal, but there's also a lot of unrealistic expectations we want to mention.
One of these is that the family members will love each other right away. And there needs to be a realization that this is going to take some time to merge two families.
Right.
That usually can take 5 to 7 years, especially when there's children.
This marriage and family will be better than the last. Don't compare. Everything is different. You have different people in this picture.
We may think that we can merge our traditions quickly, but by definition, traditions are something that's repeated over time. So we need to expect that this is going to be a process.
Our kids are invested in this marriage as much as we are. They're probably not.
We may think that my relationship with my children won't have to change, and we should expect that it's going to change. It's going to be different.
Things that trouble me before the wedding will improve after getting married. All conflict needs to be resolved and doesn't typically get better with time, and so we need to work through those things.
It could be thinking that blending is the goal of the step family, but when you look at comparing the difference between a crock pot and a blender, a crock pot allows there to be differentiation between the elements that are put inside of it, whereas a blender forces them together and there's a loss of identity. So we want to have a crock pot mentality and not a microwave mentality when it comes to the time it takes for this to happen.
So there needs to be intentional focus on the marriage aspect of the new family. We want to focus on becoming one and looking at our coupleness. We want to be intentional, though, that coupleness doesn't exclude the parenting focus, and also that the parenting focus doesn't dominate the coupleness.
There's going to be baggage from previous relationships, triggers, fears, hurts, and grieving over a previous relationship, even if it's only over the new parenting picture.
Now we want to look at the relationship with the children. They've got their own picture, and it's appropriate to work through the grieving process that they are experiencing and to allow that grieving and that space for it.
We want to work with the children over their sense of loss and the lack of control that they have over their own lives.
We want to maintain relationship between the biological parent and biological child. Both parents, though, including that ex-parent, because the children are juggling living at two locations with two families.
Also, we need to realize developing a relationship with the step-parent and the new siblings and the new grandparents and extended family are all part of their picture.
So it's good to have activities alone with the biological parent and the biological children, because this helps the children feel secure, and feeling secure is what helps them open up to receive the step parent into their heart.
Yeah. Family activities are necessary to help the bonding process with the step parent and the new siblings.
Allow them to be involved in decision making, especially related to them. Obviously, they're not making decisions, but the more they're allowed to have a voice, the more invested they'll be to support what's going on.
And in relationship with the ex-spouse, you need to work toward a co-parenting viewpoint as much as possible.
Accept what you can't change and make that a matter of prayer.
In the area of parenting, the biological parent should be the heavy, the one who's bringing discipline or correction.
Step parent's goal, in the beginning especially, just needs to be to develop and earn relationship, position, and voice.
You need to make sure that you're discussing the end goals, the steps to get there, and what those phases are.
Things to avoid would be the step parent dominating, stepping up to get the stepchildren in line, running over the biological parent.
And privately discuss differences and develop a parenting plan.
Find common ground, hear your spouse's wishes, and work together as much as possible.
You want to retain stability for the child and avoid changing too much too fast.
Tolerate the biological parent's differences and right to decide.
You want to have general boundaries, core beliefs within which you operate.
Initially, the biological parent states the rules and consequences to their biological children.
And the step parent is going to get the respect that any adult would get in the
The
beginning.
step parent wants to grow into that parental role to the extent that the child develops relationship and that the biological parent facilitates. But know that not all step parent, stepchild relationships are going to look like that of the biological parent.
Right. You know, in the area of budgeting, there's going to be a lot of problem areas probably that are going to need to be discussed.
So you want to discuss a shared vision, come up with a joint plan on how you will operate.
And realize that you may need to grow into what you desire, so there needs to be a lot of patience for this process.
You're probably going to need to build trust. Conflict is usually due to underlying fears, which are going to happen in the blended family more so. So accommodate each other as trust is built.
So there's a variety of ways that remarried couples can manage their money.
They might have accounts that are mostly separate. They might be mostly joint. They might be a combination of the two, or there may be shifting that happens over time as trust is built or for convenience sake.
So look at some of our other budgeting videos for additional ideas on this area.
There are some resources that are good. We especially have enjoyed looking at Ron Deal's smartstepfamilies.com. He has a lot of books and videos and articles that would be helpful.
So it's really important to educate yourself in this area. There's a lot of transition and a lot of changes that need to take place.
So recognize the need for community, not just with other blended families, but also with families that are not blended, and also recognize the need for other input.
You know, you need to be able to communicate openly with each other, to make goals and set plans, and be patient, because all of this is a process. It's not instantaneous.